topic is riding in heavy winds. And I've had multiple people write to me and ask me for advice on this topic. And it's first of all, I would have never have thought to make a video about it because it's something I've never had any difficulty with. So I just assumed that, it came natural to everyone. But to be honest, it's not the best assumption, because not only have there been a lot of people writing to me asking for this topic, I've also known people. Like I've had a couple of friends crash, and then I asked them, how'd you crash? And they're like, oh, well, I was riding in the countryside, and a big gust of wind came along, and it blew me off the road. And I'm like, you're a fucking loser. Yeah. But, yeah, pretty much. See, this guy's having difficulty. Look, he's like swerving around. His helmet. It doesn't fact that his helmet is like overly loose, and it doesn't help that he doesn't have any eye protection. See, I'm wearing a full-faced helmet, so as far as my face is concerned, there is no wind. Like I don't, because there's no wind on my face. There's normally a lot of wind on my helmet, because that's what doing high speeds is. Like when you're doing high speeds, you've got a huge amount of wind. So as long as you got a visor or something, so let's make that step number one. You need eye protection. You always need eye protection. Wearing sunglasses, wearing something over your eyes is more important than wearing something over your head. What do I mean by that? I mean, if I could have a choice of just wearing a half helmet or just wearing sunglasses, I would choose sunglasses. I would choose sunglasses over just like a half helmet with no eye protection. And in America, they actually have some states where they have that as a law. They say, in some American states, they say, helmets are, helmets aren't mandatory, but eye protection is. So that means if you're not wearing a helmet, it's okay. But if you're not wearing a helmet and you're not wearing sunglasses, it's not okay. And I think helmets should be mandatory, but I agree with that rule that eye protection is more important than a helmet. So I think if you see someone riding around like that old guy there with a half helmet on, but nothing, or this guy right here, a half helmet on and nothing covering his eyes, I think those people should be like ticketed. But they don't have a law about that here. Anyways, let's try to stay on topic. It's really simple. To become like I remember when I was back in Canada one time, I was doing a cross-country ride with my brother, and we were going across some we were going down some really windy roads, and we were stopped somewhere, and we were talking to like a police. Like, look at that woman. She's got 2 kids on her scooter, and she's squinting like crazy. And some of you are like, no, she's just Asian. No, she was squinting. Yeah, she was squinting like crazy. It's just dangerous. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I was riding with my brother across Canada and we stopped somewhere, and we had like a cop on a motorcycle, and he started chatting with us, and he's like, oh, these roads up ahead are real windy. He goes, you'll be fine. He points to my brother. My brother's riding like an 1100cc muscle bike, because your bike's big and heavy, but your younger brother there on the 400cc bike, he might get blown around. I'm like, no one's gonna blow me other than my boyfriend, Mr. Pig. No, I just like rolled my eyes. I'm like, whatever, fuck. So like me being on a scooter, I should be even more prone to being blown, because this is much lighter than a 400cc motorcycle, which the cop thought somehow would get blown away. And what you need to know to ride in the wind is counter steering. It's as simple as that. Because even though it's like windy out, I've only got one hand on. I'm petting my dog with the other hand here. I'm not concerned. Even if it was like, you just need to know counter steering. If you can consciously understand counter steering, it will help you to automatically steer against the wind. And then no matter what kind of a wind hits you, you'll just adjust the handlebars. Because that's the problem. Because some people are like people that don't consciously counter steer. They kind of just like instinctively take corners by they're still counter steering, but they lean more than they should. They lean more. They use leaning more than they should. And those same people, when there's like a heavy side wind, they'll just try to like lean against it, and then when they start getting blown off the road, they're like, I'm leaning as far as I can go. Why am I still getting blown off the road? And the reason, because it's not about leaning. Leaning, accounts for like 10% of steering, and the other 95% is counter steering, which is just moving your hand on the handlebar. So, if you want to know how to ride in heavy wind, you simply check my video description. There's a sign blowing across the road. Check my video description, and then go watch my videos on counter steering, and then practice counter steering on a non-windy day. And then the next time you're riding and you get hit by a sudden gust of wind, you'll just instinctively steer. If I'm getting hit by wind on the left, it's going to push me to the right, so I need to steer right. So you'll instinctively steer away from the wind, which will cause you to turn into it. Yeah, so it's as simple as that. Like my friend that got blown off the road, like my friend in Canada, he got blown off he was like in the country road, and he got blown off of it. Like there's no way. Like I've been hit by big gusts. I've been hit by you're riding along in heavy wind, and then a semi goes by really close, and the wind just shakes you. As long as you know how to properly, whoa, that's not even a word. Properly use the handlebars to counter the effects of the wind, you should be fine. So the key to riding in heavy winds is understanding counter steering. Other than that, don't deploy your parachute while riding. Don't wear a Batman cape. And yeah, that's about it. Move your fingers. Okay, stop. Move like this. Go like this.